So I have an easy question for you today. What if this were your last day on earth? What if this were your last day on earth? It very well could be, I mean, for any of us. We don't know when that bus might run us over, right? Or what could happen to us. I would say probably most of the people in the world that pass, unless they've got some kind of long-term terminal illness, don't expect it, don't see it. And that's what Jesus is talking about today. He's talking about the end times, but he's not talking only about the end times when the world comes to an end. He's also talking about our end times, when our life comes to an end. And he says, are you prepared? Are you ready for that? I think most of us, I know I do sometimes, operate on what I call the BAM method, B-A-M, base acceptable minimum, right? We do the things we are sort of supposed to do. We kind of obey the speed limits and the stop signs, particularly the one out in front of the church. We kind of do the things we're supposed to do. We kind of operate at that level, but none of us, I think, could be held to like an exceptional level. It's kind of a base acceptable minimum. I don't want to call him a friend in college, but Chuck kind of operated on that very minimum level. He cheated on tests. He cheated on his girlfriend. He even cheated when we played cards. And we used to say to him, why do you do this? Why do you behave this way? And his answer was all, well, it's not wrong if you don't get caught. Yeah, I know. Do we know people like that? It's not wrong if you don't get, it's only wrong if you get caught. Well, Chuck got expelled. So I guess it is wrong, right? It turned out that way. But there are so many of the world that just kind of, there's this basic, as I'm not hurting anybody. That's the other mantra we hear. Well, I can do whatever I want because, quote, I'm not hurting anybody. And so we operate at this kind of minimalist level. I had a great teacher in graduate school, Dr. Byron. And Dr. Byron used to always say, he says, I love plumbing. And we'd all go, what is he talking about? I love plumbing. He goes, I love plumbing. He goes, you do your plumbing, you put it in the ground, you cover it with dirt and concrete, and as long as it's working, you don't notice it. And he says, faith is kind of like that. He says, plumbing has tremendous integrity because the only time we see it is when it's not working. We trust it. We hide it. It's away. But it has great integrity. That word integrity is really a great word. It's an architectural word, too, as well as we talk about people having integrity, but we talk about buildings and structures having structural integrity. It doesn't just mean that they have tremendous strength, but it means that they take the stresses as they're supposed to. They shift and move and do the things that they need to do to keep the building upright or the structure upright. And we're called to have that kind of integrity. We're called to shift and move and have that strength and be able to resist the things of this world. And the things of this world are awful. There's a lot of stuff that comes at us on a daily basis. You can't even drive down the street without seeing things that are provocative and shocking and upsetting. It's a hard way to go. But we're called to do that. Tug McGraw, the great baseball player, has a son, which some of you may know. It's Tim McGraw. Tim McGraw is a country western singer. Well, Tug was diagnosed with cancer. And Tim said to his dad, he goes, well, what did you do, after he had been diagnosed with cancer? And his response was, and it's a country western song, I went hang gliding. I went Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 4.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. And I spoke sweeter. And I loved deeper. and I gave the forgiveness that I had been denying. I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. And my brothers and sisters, I think that's a mantra for us today. If we want to be prepared for the world, for the end of the world, or for the end of our world, we need to love deeper and speak sweeter and give the forgiveness that we have been denying. Because we all need to live our lives like we are dying.